guys, I thought I would talk to you today about, I think, my favorite show of the fall season. I think. I don't know yet because there's only 9 episodes out as of this filming. But I just wanted you to be aware of it. I've mentioned it in a couple videos, so you've probably kind of heard me talk about it. But the show Ranking of Kings, like, I hope you guys check it out. It is, if you haven't seen it yet, it is so good. I'm literally obsessed, and I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of analysis on it when it finishes. It really is like, if you guys have ever read a Germanic fairy tales, like not the Disney version, but like the real version, like for example, The Little Mermaid. It's actually like this really, sorry if this is spoilers for the 1700s or whatever version of Little Mermaid, but basically what happens is the Little Mermaid, you know, she actually falls in love with the prince, like in the Disney version. And I actually read this as a kid, but I think before I saw the Disney version, around the same time, which was interesting. But she falls in love with the prince. The feeling is not mutual. He's in love with some other girl. And she ends up being turned into sea foam, guys. That's the ending. It's like, it's a warning. It's a tale about idealizing someone before you know them, I think. Anyways, here's my point. This show, Ranking of Kings, reminds me of those Germanic fairy tales. Like, there's a lot of cuteness to it. It's like, it seems simple on the outside, right? Like, it's a very cute animation style. The story seems simple, right? There's a prince, and he can't hear, and he can't communicate with people, and it's about him. But this story is a lot more than that, and it's just so similar to like a Germanic fairy tale. Like, I'm impressed, at least to me. And if I've ever seen an anime like this, and maybe I just haven't seen enough. It's like if Pixar went there. Like, it's like Pixar, but it's just so much more. I think it, honestly, if it stays as good as it is on the 9th episode, I think it will be one of my favorite shows of all time. We'll get into some spoilery discussion now. For those of you who've seen it, we can talk about it. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is your cue to leave the video, come back later, go watch it. It's on Funimation, and I think that's it for now. Maybe Hulu. Hulu has a lot of Funimation stuff, but I think just Funimation, so at least in America. If you're somewhere else, I don't know. There's the episode where Daida is like frozen and stuck in his own father's, or in his mind, I think, or his heart. And that was so cool and interesting, the way they animated that, and it was disturbing, obviously. I find the show interesting because it really goes there. If you ever saw Degrassi, and back in the day that was their phrase, but I'm taking it. I mean, gosh, King Boss, he's like the description of a narcissist, isn't he? I mean, he basically steals his own child's lifeblood, his own child's strength and everything, so he can be more powerful. And he's just so like, the only reason, I don't know about, obviously, Hilda, the second wife yet, but the first wife, he basically married just so he could have a kid to steal the kid's power. I mean, that's a whole other level of messed up that you don't always see in shows. And I really liked that. I thought it's going to be helpful for kids who have narcissistic parents to see too. You know, to kind of reflect. But King Boss, he's got to be like my least favorite character right now. No, I don't know. It seems like there's always more than what's underneath the surface for every character, but I just can't see his actions being excusable. So we'll see what happens. My favorite character is obviously Boji, because he's freaking adorable. and he just never gives up, but it's like in a very endearing way. And him and the Shadow, they're like the best. I never thought I'd be so invested in a Shadow, but here I am. Like, oh, the Shadow's backstory was like tragic, and I literally like I think I bawled my eyes out the most for the Shadow's backstory and Boji's. I empathize with Daida. You know, he's just a kid. He didn't really know what he was getting himself into with the whole mirror thing. Like, I don't even know that. How did he even get the mirror? Did King Boss give him the mirror? You know, like, did King Boss know he was gonna die? Or is King Boss just possessed by that demon? I'm not totally sure. Because I remember when King Boss died, the demon or whatever spawn thing, like, came out of him. So that's confusing. So, like, I still don't know. Is King Boss all bad? I don't know. But whether it's King Boss or the demon, somebody's a narcissist in there. So, that's my guess for that. The stepmom is so sweet, actually, to Boji. Like, at first I thought, oh, she kind of sucks, but she's sweet. Ugh. And, like, she tried so hard with him, and it was so cute. Daida is kind of annoying, but I feel for him. I mean, I can't imagine being literally trapped like that, where you can't get out, you can't do anything, you know, you're stuck, basically. And knowing that your own father betrayed you like that, I think he knows it's his father. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure, does he know it's his father? I know the wife does, but that'll be interesting to find out in the next episode. Yeah, I'm interested to see where the story goes. It's just, it's so creative. And so well done. I wonder if it's going to turn into like an older fairy tale where there's like a sort of a warning in there, which I guess there already is, but I don't know quite what the warning is yet. Like, is it going to be a story of warning about Boji? I really hope not. I don't want it to be a tragedy. Or is it going to be like a story of triumph, which I would really like. I feel like there's a lot of different ways the story could go. So yeah, it's amazing. And I love too, like, they have like even like someone who you might think at first is a villain, like the king of the underworld. He has like these insecurities, and his brother is like, oh yeah, the king of the underworld's really insecure about his face, and then the king of the underworld like destroys his own statue. Like, it just works, you know? It's like, it's kind of ridiculous, but the vibe altogether just is amazing. I think you have to suspend, I guess the only people I think who might not like it is if you have a hard time suspending your disbelief. It's not going to be obviously a story that it relates to real life in terms of like dealing with emotional things, dealing with betrayal, dealing with finding yourself, and you know, failing and trying again, you know, which I think is really cool. But it doesn't deal with real life in terms of like, oh, it's an office drama, or you know, something like that. So, but in terms of a fantasy, it has got to be one of my favorite fantasy animes and just stories in general. So 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah. And thank you guys for watching this video. I don't know if I have anything else to say right now. I'm sure I will have more as it goes on, because I'm just blown away by how good it is. So thank you guys for watching. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.